Not just a little different, a deep, undeniable shift in the way you think, the way you focus, the way you live your life. What if a single week could completely reset your mind and unlock the energy, clarity, and drive you've always wanted? It sounds almost impossible, but the truth is, transformation doesn't need years. It doesn't need complicated strategies or expensive tools. It only needs simple, consistent habits designed to tap into the way your brain naturally works. And if you stay with this video until the very end, by the time it's over, you'll have the exact steps to start your transformation immediately. Most people believe that big change requires big actions. They think success is about overhauling their life overnight. But science tells a different story. The human mind is wired to respond to repetition. Every small action you take creates tiny neural pathways, and when repeated, these pathways strengthen. This is why small habits done consistently are far more powerful than grand gestures done once in a while. Your brain doesn't care about effort, it cares about patterns. If you start a pattern of focus, gratitude, and purposeful action, your mind will begin to rewire itself automatically without you forcing it. Here's the secret most people miss. Change feels impossible because they underestimate the power of small wins. One habit, repeated for just a few minutes each day, compounds into confidence. It compounds into momentum. It compounds into results that feel almost magical to an outside observer. Imagine stacking small victories each day, finishing a task on time, writing down your goal, focusing without distraction. 7 days of this and suddenly your mind isn't wandering. Your attention sharpens, your energy rises. You start to notice opportunities you never saw before. You begin to feel in control of your own life instead of drifting through it. It all starts with awareness. Right now, as you hear these words, your mind is already reacting. Your brain is scanning for possibilities, for meaning, for reward. And this is why it's so important to commit to the next 7 days. Each day is a test of focus, discipline, and the courage to start small but think big. Think about the areas in your life where you feel stuck. Think about the moments when you know you could be doing more, achieving more, living more, but something holds you back. What if those blocks weren't external? What if the obstacle was simply your own habits or the lack of them? The power of change lies not in the intensity of what you do, but in the clarity of what you choose to do repeatedly. One clear action taken daily can transform your week, your month, even your life. In the coming sections, you will learn habits that are so simple, so natural, that your mind will almost crave them once you start. Habits that are backed by psychology. Habits that prime your brain to focus effortlessly, boost your productivity, and increase your energy. By the end of this journey, you won't just understand the theory of change. You'll feel it, you'll see it in your attention, in your energy, and in the subtle but undeniable shifts in the way you approach each day. So here's the deal. If you stay with this video until the end, you're not just learning tips, you're gaining a roadmap to transform your next 7 days into the most productive, focused, and energized week you've ever had. Imagine feeling unstoppable, even on days when distractions are everywhere. Imagine knowing exactly what to do each morning to set your brain on fire with focus. Imagine completing tasks that once felt impossible, not because of motivation, but because your habits have created a natural flow of action. Right now, your future self is waiting. The one who is sharper, more focused, and more alive than ever. The one who doesn't waste energy on distractions or procrastination. The one who wakes up every morning feeling purpose and direction. That version of you is not a distant dream. It's waiting to be unlocked by the small, deliberate steps you take starting today. And it all begins with understanding the simplicity of habits, the psychology of the brain, and the compounding power of repetition. 7 days. That's all it takes to start a chain reaction. One simple habit after another, day by day, section by section. And by the time this video ends, you'll be ready to step into that transformation, equipped with the tools and insights that make it not just possible, but inevitable. Change doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you choose clarity over chaos. Most people drift through life reacting to every notification, every distraction, every fleeting impulse. Your mind becomes scattered, energy drains, and focus disappears. But when you decide to start with clarity, everything shifts. The first habit that will shape your next 7 days is defining one clear goal for yourself. Not 10 goals, not a vague idea of I want to be better, but one specific, measurable target that you can commit to fully. Your brain responds to clarity. When it knows exactly what to focus on, it begins to filter out distractions automatically. The human mind craves direction. Without it, energy leaks in every direction. But with a clear goal, each decision, each action starts aligning with that target. This alignment is invisible at first, but by the end of just a few days, you'll notice your productivity rising naturally. Tasks feel easier, priorities become obvious, and momentum builds without forcing it. Writing your goal down is the brain intention and action. The physical act of putting pen to paper or typing it out creates a psychological commitment. Your subconscious begins to organize resources, ideas, and attention around that goal. Every choice you make starts to answer the silent question, does this move me closer or farther away from my target? When you make this question the filter for your actions, life becomes simpler, more focused, and profoundly effective. Clarity also strengthens confidence. When you know what you want, uncertainty diminishes. Fear fades because you're no longer wandering aimlessly. Each small step toward your goal reinforces the belief that progress is inevitable. You begin to see that effort compounds, that consistency matters far more than intensity, and that your brain adapts quickly to disciplined focus. Today, take a moment to decide what matters most in your life right now. Ask yourself, if I could change only one thing in the next 7 days, what would it be? This question will point you to the single goal that deserves your attention. By committing fully to this goal, you set in motion a chain reaction. Every habit, every action, every choice begins to build toward meaningful transformation. Clarity is not just a habit, it is the foundation of focus, productivity, and personal power. Your next 7 days will be guided by this simple yet powerful principle, and with it, your mind begins to work for you, not against you. Once clarity is established, the next step is to eliminate distractions and sharpen focus. The human brain is easily pulled in multiple directions. Notifications, social media, endless scrolling, and constant noise fragment attention and drain energy. Focus is not just about working harder, it's about working smarter, directing your mental energy toward what truly matters. When you remove distractions, even for short periods, your mind begins to operate at a higher level. Tasks that once felt overwhelming suddenly seem manageable. Creating a dedicated time for deep, uninterrupted work is a habit that transforms results. Even 30 minutes of complete focus, free from interruptions, rewires your brain for productivity. This practice strengthens your ability to concentrate, making it easier to stay engaged in every aspect of life. Psychology shows that when the brain experiences sustained attention, it releases dopamine, a chemical that rewards effort and reinforces behavior. Each session of focused work becomes a small victory, motivating you to continue and building a positive feedback loop. Distraction is often disguised as busyness. Many people convince themselves they are productive because they are constantly active, checking emails, replying to messages, or moving between tasks. But busyness does not equal progress. Real achievement comes from intentional action, where every choice is aligned with your goal. When your attention is concentrated, you notice solutions faster, think more creatively, and complete tasks with clarity and precision. Environment plays a crucial role in focus. A cluttered space, a noisy room, or constant interruptions hijack your brain's energy. By creating a quiet, organized area for your work, even for short periods, you signal to your mind that it's time to operate at its best. Focus becomes easier when your surroundings reinforce the habit. This habit is not about perfection, it's about consistency. Start small, even 5 or 10 minutes of pure focus if that's all you can manage today. Each session strengthens your brain's capacity to concentrate, and soon it becomes effortless. By directing your attention deliberately, you reclaim hours of wasted energy. You gain control over your mind, rather than letting external forces dictate your day. The power to transform productivity lies in this simple choice: to focus deeply, consistently, and intentionally, making every moment count toward the life you want to create. Shashashashkan, 4 energy fuels everything. Without it, focus fades, motivation declines, and even small tasks feel exhausting. One of the simplest and most powerful habits to change your life in 7 days is moving your body daily. It doesn't have to be intense. Movement also strengthens willpower. Each time you commit to a habit that challenges your comfort zone, no matter how small, you train your mind to resist procrastination and embrace discipline. The brain learns that effort leads to reward, and over time, this rewiring makes habits feel natural rather than forced. Physical energy and mental energy are deeply connected. When one rises, the other follows. It's not about perfection or pushing yourself to exhaustion. The key is consistency. Even 10 minutes a day done deliberately compounds over the week. By the 7th day, you will feel the difference. A sense of vitality, focus, and readiness that was absent before. Your mind will notice subtle shifts, sharper thinking, clearer decisions, and increased motivation to act on your goals. Daily movement also improves resilience. Challenges feel less daunting because your body and mind are stronger together. Each habit you implement for your energy reinforces the others. Focus becomes sharper, productivity rises, and your ability to take on life's demands grows. By taking this simple step, you signal to your brain that you are committed to your growth, and your nervous system responds by giving you the clarity and vitality needed to push through every task, every goal, every moment. Energy is the fuel, movement is the spark. Together they ignite transformation. Stillness is as powerful as action. In the chaos of daily life, the mind becomes cluttered with endless thoughts, worries, and distractions. One habit that can transform your focus and productivity in just 7 days is practicing mindfulness for a few minutes each day. This is not complicated meditation or hours of sitting quietly. It is simply a deliberate pause, a moment to observe your thoughts without judgment, to breathe deeply, and to bring attention back to the present. The human brain thrives on patterns, but it also becomes exhausted by constant stimulation. Mindfulness trains the mind to recognize distractions and return to what truly matters. You become aware of unproductive habits, wasted energy, and mental clutter. Awareness alone creates control, and control is the foundation of personal power. During mindfulness, the brain releases chemicals that reduce stress and anxiety, increasing clarity and calmness. When the mind is calm, focus becomes effortless. Tasks that once felt overwhelming are approached with composure and precision. This habit teaches that productivity is not about rushing or overworking, but about creating a state where your energy and attention flow naturally toward meaningful action. Consistency is key. A daily habit of stillness strengthens your ability to concentrate, enhances decision-making, and improves emotional resilience. It also amplifies the effects of other habits you are building: clarity, focus, and energy. When the mind is quiet, solutions become obvious. Creativity surfaces. Motivation rises from within, not from external triggers. Mindfulness also reinforces self-discipline. By choosing to pause instead of reacting impulsively, you strengthen your capacity to manage distractions, resist temptation, and act with intention. This habit may seem small, but its impact compounds quickly. Within 7 days, your mind will feel sharper, calmer, and more in control. You will approach your goals with a clarity and confidence that was previously out of reach. Stillness is not empty. It is the fertile ground where focus, energy, and productivity grow. And it is the habit that connects every other change you are making in this transformative week. Your environment shapes your mind more than you realize. Every sound, every notification, every visual distraction pulls energy away from what truly matters. One habit that will dramatically improve focus and productivity is controlling digital noise. Social media, constant messages, and endless alerts fragment attention and make the mind feel restless. By setting boundaries and limiting unnecessary digital input, you reclaim energy and sharpen your ability to concentrate on meaningful tasks. The human brain is designed to respond to stimuli. Every ping, every pop-up, every scroll creates a small rush of dopamine, which feels rewarding but ultimately drains focus. When distractions dominate your attention, mental fatigue sets in and productivity drops. Controlling digital noise is not about abandoning technology. It is about using it intentionally. Turning off notifications, scheduling focused work periods, and checking messages only at set times teaches the brain that attention is valuable and not for constant trade. This habit also strengthens self-control. Every choice to resist distraction reinforces your ability to focus on high-value activities. Your mind begins to anticipate reward from meaningful action rather than empty digital stimulation. With fewer interruptions, tasks that once felt overwhelming become manageable. Creativity increases because the mind has space to think deeply instead of constantly reacting. Implementing this habit requires discipline, but it is simple. Start by identifying the source of unnecessary digital input and remove or limit them. Create blocks of time where the phone and computer are tools, not distractions. As your brain adjusts, you will notice a remarkable increase in attention span and efficiency. By reducing digital clutter, you also reduce mental stress. Each notification avoided is a small victory for your focus. Over time, your environment aligns with your goals instead of pulling you away from them. This habit compounds quickly, reinforcing other habits you are building: clarity, energy, and mindfulness. Within just a few days, you will feel a sense of control over your attention and your time, a control that allows you to act decisively and make progress toward your goal. Every action becomes intentional, every moment more productive, and your mind sharper than ever. Reflection is the bridge between action and growth. Without taking time to look back, the lessons of your efforts are easily lost. One of the most powerful habits to implement in these 7 days: daily journaling and self-reflection. Writing down your thoughts, actions, and progress forces your brain to process experiences consciously rather than letting them slip away unnoticed. This simple practice transforms ordinary days into meaningful steps toward improvement. Reflection strengthens self-awareness, a trait that separates those who drift through life from those who create it. By acknowledging what went well and what could be improved, the mind begins to notice patterns. You see which choices lead to energy, focus, and productivity, and which ones drain your potential. Self-reflection is not about criticism. It is about clarity and learning. Each insight gained becomes a tool for action. Journaling also reinforces accountability. When you record your goals, your habits, and the results of your day, you create a tangible connection between intention and outcome. The brain naturally responds to this structure. Patterns of success reinforce themselves, and areas that need adjustment become obvious. Within a week, this simple habit turns scattered thoughts into strategic awareness, giving you a sense of control and direction. Psychology shows that reflection enhances motivation. Seeing progress, even in small increments, activates reward centers in the brain, encouraging continued effort. Writing down achievements, no matter how minor, increases confidence and reinforces the belief that change is possible. Similarly, noticing areas for improvement is not discouraging. It is empowering because it gives your mind actionable insights rather than vague frustration. Consistency is essential. Spend just a few minutes each day documenting your experiences and thoughts. Over 7 days, you will begin to see your patterns of behavior, your energy levels, your productivity cycles, and the habits that serve you best. Reflection connects all other habits: clarity, focus, energy, mindfulness, and discipline, by giving them context and meaning. By taking control of your thoughts through journaling, you transform the invisible aspects of your mind into concrete, actionable knowledge. This awareness is the foundation for sustained change and the key to turning short-term effort into long-term transformation. Momentum is built through repetition. Each day you repeat a positive habit, your brain reinforces the pathway that makes it easier the next time. One of the most powerful realizations you can have in these 7 days is that small actions compound into significant change. It is not the grand gestures or long hours that create transformation, but consistent intentional steps taken every day. Your mind craves consistency. When you create patterns of success, it starts to anticipate reward from productive actions rather than fleeting distractions. Each habit you practice, clarity, focus, energy, mindfulness, and reflection, strengthens your capacity to take the next step. By the third or fourth day, you will notice small but undeniable shifts. Tasks that felt difficult now feel manageable, your thoughts feel clearer, and your attention naturally focuses on what matters most. Consistency also builds confidence. When the brain sees repeated success, it starts to believe that progress is inevitable. Even small victories, like completing a focused work session or writing down your reflections, send a powerful signal to your subconscious. You are capable of following through. This belief grows stronger each day, reinforcing your habits and making them easier to maintain. Psychology shows that visible progress